Hip flexor, stretch, and roll. Your hip flexors are a group of muscles that are going to cross your hip joint. Generally speaking, they're going to attach on your femur and they're going to attach on your pelvis up here. So what I like to do first is roll them out. And usually I like to use the corner of my foam roller to really make sure it's nice and firm. If you go in here, you get a lot more surface area hitting those muscles. So I really try to like accentuate the end into my hip flexors in here. And you'll feel in here where it's going to be tender and where you want to kind of sit on it. So, and that's the other common misconception about rolling, is that a lot of people just roll back and forth over the roller. But what we want to do is find a tender spot and sit there. So I usually, like I said, I put it right in there. And when you find that tender spot, you can sit there. Another thing I like to do, just get some hamstring curls. Your body has a function called reciprocal innervation, and when you activate one muscle group, it tries to deactivate the opposing muscle group to relax it, to make it easier for that primary mover muscle group to activate. So getting just a couple hamstring curls in there, really focusing on hamstring activation and not using your quads to extend the leg back down. For your stretch, I have this sissy squat stand here. You can use a bench. It's going to be the same. You can use a box with a hip thrust pad on it. But basically, you're just going to put one foot up on there. I like to put my other foot out in front of me so I can kind of lean into it. And then what I do is pull back, push the bottom of my hips forward, and immediately I feel a stretch through here. So we're going to be looking for this muscle right in here for that stretch. So you're going to, just like your hip thrust, you're going to push the bottom of your hips forward, and you can push into it. And then after you get into that posterior hip tilt, you can kind of lean back and pull back like this, and that'll accentuate that stretch. Hip flexor, stretch, and roll.